So, welcome, ladies. Good to see you guys on today. Hi, Miss Casey. Hi, Miss Latoya. Hi, Miss Norlise. Good to see you. Thank you so much for being with us here today. My name is Lexi Landry. I am your trainer for today's session. Today's session was around a lot of supports for our family childcare homes, but a lot of the content in today's session can be applied even into childcare centers. So, oh, hi, Miss Deborah. Good to see you today. Um,
Hello, how y'all doing?
so I'm happy to have you guys on with me today, and I look forward to today's session. So today we're going to be looking at supporting diverse abilities and age groups. So I know that the majority of you guys are in a childcare center, early childcare center, but today's session, we really wanted to directly support our family childcare homes with some specific content. But the context that we use today is going to be applicable across many different environments. So in the chat box, you can answer one of the two questions. What are you most interested in learning about this afternoon? Or when you hear the word diverse abilities, what words or thoughts come to your mind? And so as you guys are choosing one of those two questions to respond to, and as you're putting your response in the chat box, if you are not in a family childcare home, you might be surprised to hear that some of our family childcare homes support any age group of children anywhere from birth to 5, and some providers even have after school students in their care in the afternoons. So when we have such a huge, broad, and diverse group of children, we do have to make some adjustments to the way that we present and plan information for teaching our students. We might also have ability differences too. And so, we may see some family childcare home providers that take in students who might be on the autism spectrum or other diagnoses, or they might just have a general delay in their development. And it's really important to make sure that the content that we're presenting to them makes sense and matches their level of understanding and learning. So we just had a couple people join on. Hello, Miss Evelyn. Good to see you today. Hi, Miss Shy. Glad to see you on.
Hello.
And so it sounds like Miss Deborah said different for diverse abilities. Miss Casey said different learning styles and ways to learn. Yeah, absolutely. Diverse abilities definitely encompasses both of those statements. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So we are supporting diverse abilities and age groups in today's content. Just a couple housekeeping reminders. If you are able to chat with us verbally, we would love to have you talk with us in today's training. And so when the red line is over the microphone button, that means you are muted and we cannot hear you. Without the red line, it means you're unmuted and we can hear you. If you can't hear me, or if I can't hear you, you might have to change your microphone or speaker settings, and that's with the little caret next to the microphone button. The same applies with the video button. If you're able to have your video on, we would love to see you. But I do understand that some of you might be in a classroom right now, maybe with some students. So if you're not able to, we're just happy that you're here with us this afternoon. And a couple of you already found the chat box. It's going to be that little bubble button with 3 dots. And when you click on it, the chat box will pop up and you can either message me privately or message everyone in the group. And so it does look like we've had a couple submissions in our chat box. Thank you, Miss Deborah. Thank you, Miss Casey. Appreciate it. So in today's agenda, we're going to be going over, we're going to define what diverse abilities means. Then we're going to talk about our own personal successes and challenges with supporting diverse abilities and age groups in our programs. Then we're going to explore some strategies for some individualized supports. Specifically, we're going to go over scaffolding. Scaffolding is going to be our best tool for supporting diverse age groups and supporting diverse abilities for our students. So we're going to really dive deep into scaffolding as our main strategy for individualized supports. And then we're going to wrap that all up. You guys are going to choose something that we talk about today to try and implement in your classroom or implement at your site, and provide you with some resources to help with that process as well. So our definition for supporting diverse learners. We're going to tie this into class for a couple different things. So when we talk about class, this is the classroom assessment scoring system. This is the program that is used to assess programs on teacher-child interactions. And so whether we're supporting infants, toddlers, or pre-K students, we're always going to want to make sure that we're asking questions and providing events and activities that are developmentally appropriate for them, even if we have diverse students in our grouping. So this is going to tie into a lot of different dimensions across all three age groups, specifically with facilitating exploration, language modeling. We're going to look at concept development and quality of feedback with the pre-K level for supporting that age group. And we're going to see a lot of this as we go through today's session. So we're going to define diverse abilities as ability diversity refers to varying abilities and disabilities, differences in cognitive, social, emotional, and physical abilities add to the layers of ability diversity. And so children with disabilities may need more individualized and intensive instruction and care. So there's going to be a couple of characteristics that we want to consider when we talk about diverse abilities. And this is going to include three items: cultural diversity, so taking into account our students' culture and the ways that their families support them at home with their learning, as well as what's really important to the family on what the child should be learning in our classroom. We might also experience linguistic diversity. And so this is going to be students that the way that they understand language is going to be different, whether they speak a different language or they understand or use a different language. So this is going to include speaking multiple languages, adaptive materials, or assistive technology when we are supporting this group. Some other things with cultural diversity, this is going to include ethnicity, their racial identity, their economic class, family structure, religious and political beliefs, and other dimensions that really profoundly influence the children's learning development and relationships to their families, their programs, and their community. So thinking about the students that you have in your classroom, think about their different cultures, their different languages, as well as their different abilities. So that's going to be our third item: ability diversity. We can think about the students we currently have in our classroom. We know some of them are really, really good at certain aspects of learning, whether it's they can sit down for long periods of time, or they can understand new content rather quickly, or they really excel in art or dramatic play. And so it's taking into account their abilities is really going to be important, and taking a real strength-based approach with those abilities when we're trying to support them in our classrooms. So with supporting diverse learners, this content comes a little bit from Pyramid Model, as well as the Head Start program with Early Childhood Learning and Knowledge Center, or ECLIC. And so when we are supporting diverse learners, they have an increased feeling of being secure. When we provide that security, they're able to have a sense of what is happening in the classroom. And when they know our schedules, they have a sense of understanding what's coming next. And they'll be able to anticipate what's going to happen for their learning to help them feel more secure. This is especially important for children who are dual language learners or have difficulty with change. Our second positive outcome for supporting diverse learners is going to be that they're going to have an increased participation and engagement level, because when we do support them where they are, we are bringing the content and the materials that they need to their learning level, and helping them feel like they have a place and that they are going to learn here. And it's hopefully not going to be as frustrating as they are trying to figure it out on their own. And our third positive outcome, this is going to influence their social and cognitive development. So when they know what's going to happen and they know that they're going to be supported no matter where they're at, this is going to help increase that sense of security as well as may help lower behavior problems. So what we're going to do next, we are going to go into breakout rooms here for just a couple of minutes. But before we go into the breakout room, we're going to watch a quick video. And so this comes from Head Start Early Childhood Learning and Knowledge Center, or ECLIC. And it talks about scaffolding children's learning. And so it is just short of 3 minutes of a video. And as you're watching the video, think about the different strategies presented in this video and think about how you implement them in your own classroom. Or even if you see a strategy and you think, I've tried that, but it didn't work. Take a note down for that, because we're going to have a group discussion in the breakout rooms over what strategies do we use, what strategies are challenging for us to use, and what maybe successes and challenges you have in using those strategies in your classroom. Does anybody have any questions before we start the video? Okay, we're going to go ahead and start. Let me see if I can get closed captions on. Okay,
Welcome to the short module on scaffolding children's learning. The main purpose of scaffolding is to provide children with the right level of support so that they can be more successful than they would be without your help. Scaffolding children's learning fits into the foundation of the National Center on Quality Teaching and Learning's House Framework. The House is a way to help us think about the teaching practices that are critical to school readiness for all children. Research shows that interactions are the classroom processes that are important for children's social and academic development. There are a number of more specific instructional interactions that we can identify and use to help children learn. Scaffolding is one of those. Teachers scaffold children's learning when they provide different levels of support and feedback to meet individual needs. There are at least 3 methods that teachers can use to provide children with just the right amount of support and feedback. One way to scaffold or support children's learning is to provide hints. A hint provides just a little more information to help the child arrive at a more accurate response or action. A hint can be given verbally, or it could be a picture or a gesture.
One idea would be to use the picture. I see you have the tail of the airplane. What else comes next? I see 2 wings. All right, let's see.
Another way to scaffold children's learning is to offer a range of possible answers. When the teacher sees that a child is struggling to come up with an answer or response, the teacher gives 2 or 3 possibilities from which the child can choose.
Is that plastic or paper? Plastic. So can you put it in the plastic bin? Very nice.
Here's another way to scaffold children's learning. The teacher can encourage the child to use additional resources to help the child understand the concept or idea.
We haven't done dolphin yet. I don't think I have a picture of a dolphin. Where could we find a picture?
Oh, that's a stamp of it.
There is a stamp of it. Where can we get a picture of a dolphin? Was there a dolphin in the seahorse book? Oh, hey, I see a book over here. This book says about fish. Do you think it has a dolphin in it?
Additional resources include books, visual reminders in the classroom, or other children. There are lots of opportunities for teachers to use scaffolding throughout the school day and in a variety of activities. Scaffolding can be used to help children learn all sorts of new knowledge and skills. Teachers need to be careful observers and provide the support that the individual child needs to keep on learning. This presentation highlighted the ways that teachers can use scaffolding in their interactions with children. Teachers can use hints, give a range of possible answers, or suggest additional resources. Please see our tips and tools and helpful resources that accompany this presentation. Thank you for listening.
Okay, so we are going to go into breakout rooms for about 4 minutes. So discuss some of the ideas that you currently use in your classroom that are different ways that you support differing abilities or different age groups, and or maybe a strategy that you saw in the presentation video that you also currently use in your classroom, and either pros and cons of how it has worked out for you. Does anybody have any questions before we go into breakout rooms? Okay, we're gonna go into breakout rooms. I'll see you guys back here in about 4 minutes. All right, I think we are coming back to the room. Let's see if everybody's in here yet. Believe so. Yeah. So I was just talking with Miss Deborah. She is, I believe, the only one here today that is in a family child care home. She is discussing about how she has infants to 5-year-olds, so quite broad range of ages that she supports. And she was also talking about how she has recently started using hints and providing scaffolding for her students, and that this wasn't a strategy she used in the school system, but she's made a statement about that it was definitely helpful for her younger students right now. Miss Deborah, did you want to make any other statements about your process on supporting your diverse age groups? You also might be muted. When we came back, everybody got muted.
I'm sorry. So we have 3 different age groups: infants, toddlers, and you could say VPK. But the VPK, he's already ready to begin reading because he can identify all his letters, colors, shapes. So we're working with him with writing, getting his name together, writing and reading. And then the toddlers, we're teaching them how to identify letters, colors, and shapes. And they're also writing their names also. And then the infants, we do songs, games with them, but we're all in the same room. So they're all picking up on all of the lessons together. So, yeah, it's challenging.
I know it is, Miss Deborah. Thank you so much for sharing your experience with us. Miss Shime, how did your group conversation go?
We had a pretty good conversation. Both Ms. Evelyn and Miss Casey shared kind of the same thing that Ms. Deborah was saying, like they have children who are on different levels and that they have to find a way to kind of meet the children where they are. So they both expressed that they use those hints, visuals. Miss Nora Lee says she uses visuals as well. And both Miss Casey and Miss Evelyn share that they also use other children to help, the ones that aren't as far as along as them. So yeah, we had a pretty good discussion.
Thanks, Miss Shime.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, ladies, for sharing your successes and challenges. It's always great to hear from each other. All right, let's shift back. I'm going to push a couple slides here. This was the information for the breakout rooms. And this was the link to the video that we just watched. So we're going to go into exploring on some strategies. Very specifically, we're going to dive into those strategies that were just mentioned in the video. So when we talk about scaffolding children's learning, we have to think about what does it look like. And so this is going to be us providing those different levels of support, but also feedback to let the children know where they're at in their learning process. And this does allow us to meet their individual needs so that the students can perform at a higher level than if they were trying to learn it by themselves. So we're going to have a couple of strategies here. So this might be providing hints when they're struggling to understand concepts, offering a range of answers so that they're given the correct answer within that range of answers. And then we're going to encourage them to use additional resources. So this might look like toys. This might look like books, or even toys, depending on what the activity is. This does not look like us giving them the right answer. We want to prompt them. We want to support them so that they get to that right answer on their own. And so these 3 strategies are really going to assist us in that process. And most of these will be applicable from infant through VPK. The way that we offer these 3 will look different depending on the age group, but we can use these strategies across the age groups. So with providing hints, this is going to be, when where they're having a difficult time understanding the concepts or answering or completing a task. So this might sound something like, wow, I like the letter you wrote. Can you tell me what sound it makes? And if they aren't able to respond, then we might provide a hint with, well, I see the letter Y. And then we might make a facial gesture for the letter Y, and then they're going to be able to say the sound by imitating you as their teacher. One of the big things here also is when we ask a question, especially when we're trying to determine their level of understanding with a new concept or with something that we're trying to teach them. When we've asked the question, make sure that you have wait time. And so wait time is going to look a little different for each age group. But typically we want to wait for about 3 to 7 seconds, depending on the student. You're going to know when you need to use a longer time versus a shorter time. And also, we can still ask infants questions. We can still wait for a couple of seconds, and then we can respond with the answer. But having that back and forth and practicing that back and forth is really helpful for their language development. Our second strategy, offering a range of answers. So this might sound something like, do you remember which one of our community helpers builds roads? And the child responds, a policeman. The teacher responds, police officers are seen out in the streets, but do they build them? She says, let's look at some choices. We have a dentist, a baker, a teacher, or a construction worker. Okay, so we've just given them 4 possible answers that it could be. Our third strategy, using additional resources. So depending on what concept that you're trying to use, this might look like books or materials or toys in order to kind of prompt them towards the right answer. And so this might sound like, do you know what caterpillars turn into? And the child says, I don't know. And the teacher says, why don't we search for some information about caterpillars and see if we can figure it out? So this would be, a book that they could look through together. We're not giving them the right answer, but we are supporting them in getting the resources and materials to learn the right answer and to be able to respond to our question. And these are lifelong skills. Being able to take information from someone else with a hint or testing. As they get older, they're going to be given a range of answers. And so, and they have to pick the right answer from that list of answers. And then additional resources. Us as adults even use additional resources when we're trying to learn new information, whether it be the internet or books or another person. Sometimes we need help in understanding a new concept. So by practicing these strategies with our young children, we're setting them up for great success as they continue to get older and learn new concepts. So we're going to watch a couple videos of what this looks like. So this first one is going to be a video on hints. And so this one is about 49 seconds long.
Oh yeah, this is a good one. Have you heard this one before?
Yep.
Do you remember the name of this book?
Yep. That's my color.
The Rainbow
Fish.
That's the goo. You want me to help you spell goo? It only has 3 letters. Goo, goo. You know that sound? Does anyone know goo? G. G is a circle. Make a circle. And then a big hook that goes down. There you go. That's a G. And then an O. Oh, we're gonna make 2 O's. Right here. O. And another O. So when you're a scientist, you write down what you found. You found a goose spider. We gotta hang this up somewhere, girls.
So we see in that video the ways that it can be applied for one-on-one individual setting, So the teacher starts with the book, starts the name of the book, and the child is able to finish the name of the book. And then with the hints on the student writing, she's giving her kind of step-by-step instructions of how to write that specific letter. So this is going to be also supporting literacy knowledge and skills. All right, our second video here, this is going to be an example of providing a range of answers. And so this one is also about 49 seconds.
Sophia, I wonder, can you tell me something you noticed about this dolphin here? That you want to use on the map, on your mask? I noticed that it doesn't have any teeth. It has no teeth. Well, oh, I noticed on the back it has a belly that's a different color, Sophia. Oh, that looks fun. And I noticed that it has a fin on the top, like a shark almost, but it doesn't look as scary. Oh, that's okay. Okay. You can paint both sides? Whoa. Kind of like how its belly is a different color than its back. That's cool.
Okay, so we're able to see a couple different ways that he is providing a range of answers. So he says, you know, it has no teeth, the belly's a different color, it has a fin on the top of like a shark. So providing more information in order for the student to understand what the dolphin looks like and how she's going to paint her dolphin on her paper plate. So this one is also a great clip of supporting that science knowledge and skills. You know, science doesn't always have to be about experiments, but we can definitely look for details and clues of in order to understand the world around us. All right, here's our third video. This one is going to be on giving additional resources, and this one is about 40 seconds long.
Want to draw a dolphin? Do you know how? We haven't done dolphin yet. I don't think I have a picture of a dolphin. Where could we find a picture?
Oh, that's a stamp of it.
There is a stamp of it. Where can we get a picture of a dolphin? What do you think? Was there a dolphin in the seahorse book? Oh, I see a book over here. This book says about fish. Do you think it has a dolphin in it? Maybe, because maybe.
Okay, so she's able to use different resources in her classroom. The little girl even suggested that they get the stamp to see what a dolphin looks like, and then they go and find more books and find pictures of the dolphins in the books, and helping the child to search for a picture in order to support him on drawing a dolphin. So this goes towards supporting children's approaches to learning. When we think about approaches to learning, this is the different ways that we teach content across our students. And sometimes we have to tweak it and adjust it just a little bit in order to support the different age groups and abilities of the students that we do have. So, you know, we saw 3 clips here, and they all had about 3 and 4-year-old students. But a lot of these strategies can still be used for our younger students. It might take a little bit longer on our wait time when we're asking them questions, or we might have to provide higher levels of support, especially for our infants and toddlers. And they may not be able to give us the right answers all the time. We still want to give them the opportunity to do so and ask those questions and help move along their cognitive development. So when can I scaffold? Pretty much all day. So this can be at snack time, this can be at circle time, this can be at centers, this can be across any activity, any concept. throughout the entire school day in order to support the students' learning. So a couple of suggestions on using scaffolding in order to improve your own practice as a teacher. You might record yourself on video. I know not a whole lot of teachers enjoy watching or listening to themselves on a video, but nobody else has to see it. It's really just for your own review to take a moment and look at what strategies am I using? How are my students responding to those strategies? Should I tweak it just a little bit in order to be more effective? And it doesn't have to be a very long recording. Pick a section of time in the day that you really want to watch yourself on and record yourself 5-10 minutes tops. And then when you have a moment to review it, do so with a mind of, this is where I am, this is where I want to go, and here are the strategies I'm going to use in order to get there. You might also practice with a peer. So this is really helpful, especially for family childcare home directors. A lot of the times our family childcare homes are kind of isolated by themselves. They don't typically, not too many of them typically have other staff in their center. So, you might be able to connect with another family childcare home and come and watch how they provide those hints and those scaffolding opportunities, or even you might role play with that peer on what it sounds like, or even encourage them to come practice with you at your site. You might also watch a master teacher in action, and there are quite a few resources where there's video recordings of teachers using these practices in the classroom. Specifically, Teachstone would be a great resource. They have a huge video resource library on their website where you can sort by age group. You can sort by practice. So you can always go into, especially the pre-K level, and there is a practice on scaffolding under concept development. So I would encourage you to check that out. Check out the resources on Teachstone. We're also going to have some resources here for you guys in just a second. Before we go into our breakout rooms, I do want to just go over the resources that we are going to be providing you today. So we have a resource from NACCE, the National Association for Early Young Children, Education of Young Children. And the resource is titled Responding to Linguistic and Cultural Diversity. So how do we adjust our practices to help students who might come from different cultures than our own, or who might have a linguistic barrier? How do we support them just the same way that we support the rest of our students? Our next resource is going to come from Pennsylvania State. This one is titled Cultural Linguistic Ability Diversity. Are you aware? So paying attention to how your different backgrounds interact with each other in the classroom every single day. And then we have two scaffolding activities for you guys. They're one-page suggestions on how to incorporate these strategies in a daily activity. So the first one's going to be titled Building a Community. The second one's going to be titled Life on the Farm. So these give you the materials that you might need for that activity, as well as some specific prompts that you can ask as you go through that activity with the students. And so Ms. Shai is putting those in the chat box for you guys for today. And so we're going to go back one slide, and we're going to go into breakout rooms real quick for about another 4 minutes, and just pick something from today's session, whether it's a strategy that we looked at in the video, or if it's a strategy on improving your own practice. What's something that you're going to try over this next week to really pay attention to and try and implement strategies to support your diverse age groups and diverse learning abilities. Does anybody have any questions before we go into breakout rooms? Okay, I'll see you guys back here in about 4 minutes. Sorry, Miss Latoya. I was answering a question as we came back. Yes, our family childcare homes do have access to our practice-based coaching program. All right, so we talked about my group, just making sure that they're continuing to provide those hints. sharing, encouraging other co-teachers to use hints and scaffolding, and then limiting down the number of choices for a student to choose from when they are provided a range of answers. How about you, Ms. Shai? How'd it go in your room?
Yeah, Miss Evelyn says she really wants to try the hints and also using books. Miss Casey shared that she wanted to try adding more resources. And Miss Norley shared that she wanted to kind of change her language instead of doing the what color is this or what's that, but kind of getting those, asking those more like thought-provoking questions.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're going to share the screen again. We're going to wrap up with the last couple slides here. So we talked about the resources that we'll be giving you. And then, so today's summary, we talked about that we can scaffold their learning by providing those hints, providing a range of answers, and using additional resources to help them understand new concepts and ideas. This is going to wrap up our session for today. So this is my contact information in case you need it. Ms. Shai is going to drop our evaluation link in the chat box. And this is how you get your in-service certificate for today. So we do look at all evaluations to make sure that the content we're presenting is helpful in the way we're delivering it as well. So please be honest with the evaluation that you submit today with the email address that you provide on the evaluation link. That is where your in-service certificate will automatically be emailed to. Sometimes it does end up in spam, so check there. If you still don't find it or see it, then contact us and we'll help you get a copy of your certificate and make sure you get your in-service for today. This is our references for today's training. So this is the list of places where today's training content stems from. We'll be sending out a follow-up email with the resources, the evaluation link, and the PowerPoint slides themselves. Also, if somebody who you feel might benefit from today's session, there will be a YouTube recording available on our YouTube channel that you can share with others as well. So I'm going to go ahead and stop our recording. I'm going to stop